Hey everyone, it's Jessica. Hope that you all are having good a good week. It's getting ready to be spring. I know that means different things for different folks depending upon where you live, but it'll be a change of weather to some degree for all of us. And with that, I have been seeing more different sorts of behaviors coming into where I'm doing my internship as the weather is warming up. It's kind of very interesting to see it unfold. But as a reminder, my internship site does multiple sorts of, I guess, services would be the correct word to use. Substance abuse, mental health outpatient, intensive in-home, community support team, which I think in areas like Virginia, they call that mental health skill building. There is medication management. We have a provider that does Suboxone at our site, just all sorts of services available um, where I am. So this week's video, I wanted to take a couple of moments to talk to you all about mandated reporting. So in North Carolina, where I live, it looks like the mandated reporting laws have changed a little bit. The wording has changed. So before, my understanding of it was like, within reason, if you thought something was happening, if you thought there was neglect, abuse, mistreatment, wrongful death or something like that occurring for a underage person, then you should report to DSS, and that was everyone. Any adult that suspected that would report. So they changed the wording a little bit to say something along the lines of known. So they took out the suspected and known, and that kind of makes me feel like you would have to have like some sort of proof where you couldn't just, call DSS and, anonymously report that you thought something might be going on with this person, but you might have to provide more. And they also, according to the article that I read, added you as a mandated reporter, you know, not only report to DSS, you also report to your local police department, which I guess I hadn't really ever thought about that being a part of it, after you take it to DSS, and of course they would move it further if need be and involve the police. I guess that was my train of thought prior to reading that article. Having to report to the police might add an extra layer of angst for some folks. No, like I think that we probably have an ideal that if something's happening to a child, that the police are going to be involved at some point. But having that be something that is required as a mandated reporter now, and that article was from 2019 is when the change happened. According to that, it's a little bit different. It can kind of change things for folks. So everyone in the state of North Carolina is a mandated reporter, and the reports are based on the mistreatment of children. I think that, disabled individuals, elderly, all of those sorts of folks who are vulnerable to a certain degree should be added in there. And then sometimes I think that anybody, like if you think that anybody is um, being mistreated, there should be some level of mandated reporting to it. But I know that if we make it a blanket statement like that, we would have all sorts of things happening and being said and misinformation and things like that. But that's the way that it is here now. You suspect something, you might have to give a little bit more information than what was before, and DSS and law enforcement are involved. Um, I wanted to also submit a different sort of question along with this mandated reporting to get some feedback on it to see what you all would do in this case. So I never really read it anywhere, but I think that I always just assumed that if there is a person that is um, HIV positive and they are knowingly infecting other folks, then that would fall under the um, umbrella of something that should be reported if you know about it or know of it to like the local health departments and things like that, I thought, or maybe even police. I'm going to do a little bit more research to see exactly what would need to happen. But what the situation is, or what my question is for you all is, you have client A who is HIV positive, and then they engage into a romantic relationship with another client, and you don't know if they're reporting their status or not. Um, how would you ethically work that out? Like, of course, we're not supposed to, get into those sorts of conversations at all. But when it's a matter of someone being harmed intentionally in that way, maybe, because you don't know, maybe they did disclose it, but you don't know that they did. How would you all handle having two clients that are in a relationship anyway, that builds after they start treatment, not someone that came in with it, but they meet each other while they're in treatment and then they start to date, and then knowing the HIV status of one and not knowing if it's being disclosed to the other? Would you? What would you do? How would you make that make sense for yourself, or what steps might you take? Sorry for going over. Y'all have a good rest of the week.